What is up, my friends? It's Scott. Welcome back to Pretty Eff'n Curious. I like, I watch, what's this guy's name? Vegas Low Rollers. And he's always saying, my friends, my friends, my friends. And I really liked it. So I felt like maybe I'll incorporate that. What's up, my friends? How's it going? Which is funny because I am actually going to be talking about a situation, not like a situation, it's more like an interaction that happened over the weekend pertaining to friends. So I was looking on the YouTubes for something that kind of got the gist of what happened over the weekend with me. And I didn't really find that much stuff. I found stuff where people are saying they don't have friends and they're like such and such age. There's a really popular video of this guy where he's says he's 32 and he doesn't have any friends. And I was watching it. I felt bad for that guy because he felt like he had imposter syndrome, and people were only hanging out with him because they had pity on him and stuff, and kind of anxiety induced stuff. And kind of like it made me feel bad for him. Like I hope he finds something that will help him with that situation because that's just got to be a really horrible feeling to be dealing with. But didn't really cover the scope of what I'm talking about because I put myself out there. I asked people for their information, their contact information, so that we can catch up later, or go get coffee, or go to the park, or go play mini golf or something. And it seems like okay, so this is both men and women. The age doesn't matter to me, so I've asked people that are like 20, 22, 25 to hang out. I've asked people that are like 50, 55, 60 to hang out. So I mean, it does the to me at least the age doesn't matter, so I'll ask anybody I find interesting if they want to hang out and do something. So just so happened this weekend, I went to the gym and I went to a nearby restaurant to get some food to take home because the UFC fights were this weekend. I was going to watch the UFC, have some food, and I ended up sitting at the bar and ordering some food to go. The bartender is really nice. And she was interesting. She had a bunch of tattoos. We were talking about tattoos and, just kind of what she is trying to do in her life, I guess. Yeah, you know how sometimes with complete strangers you can just start talking about like the most deep stuff and it just seems normal. But she seemed interesting to me, so before I left, I was like, "Hey, you're really interesting. I would like to get to know you better. Can I get your number?" And she says, "First off, I'm gay, and second, I'm 20." And I was like, "Okay, well, I mean, neither of those really pertain to me. I'm not asking you out." And I kind of felt like she was gay, just because I've been around a lot of gay people, and I kind of have a feeling of how they hold themselves. I don't know. I mean, I'm not trying to say that I could tell you if you are or not. I'm just saying that like I didn't know. I had a feeling. That's all I'm saying. Um, and then when she said I'm 20, I was like, do I look old as fuck or what? I mean, does that mean that like socially we wouldn't be able to like go and have coffee, like hang out and talk about things? Like, am I too old? Am I like over the hump? Or uh, I don't know. It was weird. But even after that, I told her, I wasn't trying to ask her on a date. It's just I thought that she was interesting, trying to find some cool, chill people to hang out with and get to know. And she gave me her number. And um, yeah, so I got her number. And then, oh, and then, sorry, I like my brain went off on like 500 tangents and I couldn't cohesively put a thought together because it was like it was a spider web. Um, but so I got her number and then I texted her and I was like, "Hey, I appreciate you giving me your number. Like I said, I'm just looking for cool, chill people to hang out with. I've been here for I don't know, a year and a half or so, and I haven't really met that many people to hang out with." And then second, I told her that I'm 20 thing. I was like, I'm 20. I'm like old as fuck. It's like why would that be a stipulation? Maybe it's a stipulation if she thought I was trying to ask her out. I don't know. But it was just to me it seemed kind of weird because I don't really care what age you are, and as long as you're interesting and you want to hang out and you're not, like under 18, because I just think being in that situation would be weird. So what's that weird guy doing over there? Um, so I haven't heard back anything, and it made me wonder if it's like, is it more difficult to find new friends this day and age? It makes me wonder. So I started looking, and I didn't really see anything that kind of was talking on the subject. So I got this, 7 reasons why true friendships are becoming rare. And I thought that it might be fun just to watch this and kind of give thoughts about what's going on, because I think it is harder to find new friendships this day and age, um, because I've already tried multiple times, and there's been no follow through with any of the people that I've tried to hang out with, and it's just weird to me. I think I don't know if people, do they think that you have like an ulterior agenda, or like, are they afraid of making new friends? Is it like not comfortable, or I don't know. Like, I would be fine. I mean, I'm fine. I'm one of those people that's fine. I'll go to the movies and watch a movie by myself and laugh and have a good time and whatever. So I don't know, maybe if they're a person that wouldn't do something like that, if it's weird for them to go out and be with somebody new because it's like an awkward situation. I don't know. I was trying to see if there's anything about this. I haven't really found anything. So let's watch this video without further ado. What does it say?
The world is changing. That's a fact. And one of the most significant changes is how we relate to each other. In the past, you could have a bunch of random friends, but it would be more likely that some of them were your true friends. Lately, however, it seems like true friendships are getting increasingly rare and hard to come by. So what's going on here? What has happened in our culture that has led to fewer true friendships? The reason for this change can be traced back to several factors. Let's look at 7 of them. Number 1. People
It can be traced back to several factors, but let's look at seven. Let's look at 7 of them.
have forgotten how to communicate face to face.
I think this is absolutely true. A lot of people, they will tell you their most intimate secrets if they're behind a computer. But if you're face to face with them, they won't tell you their like true thoughts. Like they'll guise it behind something else, thinking that if they tell you what they truly think, like you will not like them for it, or maybe you'll start an argument, and people don't want to be in arguments unless it's online, because then they could just bounce out of the argument whenever they want. So I think this one's true.
It's a sad reality, but it's true. A lot of people just don't know how to communicate face to face anymore. We live in a world that has become increasingly virtual, with people spending more time on their phones than interacting with others in real life. In the past, we would go out in groups to meet others, but now social media has become the primary tool for socialization, especially among the younger generation, and this has led to a lack of interpersonal skills that affect the ability to make genuine friendships. While social media is great for sharing information and keeping up with friends, it's not a substitute for real social interaction. And it can be easy to think someone has a lot of friends because they post lots of pictures or comments every day, but in person, they might struggle to hold a conversation. Number 2, one
So I think number one is I mean, at this point I feel like everybody knows that. So yes.
sided and superficial relationships have become the norm. Our society is all about getting quick results, and when this applies to relationships, you end up with one sided and superficial friendships. This happens because people don't make the time to invest in building real relationships. It takes time to build trust, friendship, and mutual respect, but we live in such a
Oh yeah, so this makes me think about the guy I was talking about earlier. He made a follow-up video, and I think it was maybe less than a year. Maybe it was like, but maybe let's just say around a year. So he made a follow-up video about a year later, and he said, "Yes, I still don't have any close friends." And just to me, I was like, "Well, yeah, it's only been a year. There's no way you're gonna have any close friends. I mean, there's no way in my mind that you actually have a connection with somebody that becomes a close friend like within a year. I don't see that happening. I'm sure there could be rare cases, but usually within a year, like you'll know if you're friends and you hang out. But it, to be a close friend, I think would take longer than that.
An impatient world that many would
Oh, and also the superficial thing. I think that when I lived in Los Angeles, this happened a lot. I had a bunch of friends that would only call me when they needed stuff, and then if I ended up calling them because, like my car broke down or maybe I needed a ride to the airport or something, it was crickets. So,
would rather be entertained by someone than actually connect with them on a deeper level. People are also much more concerned about what others think of them than ever before. This has led to many being afraid of being themselves due to fear of rejection or being judged as weird or
I feel like I was just saying that. Like people won't tell you their truth because they feel like they'll be judged or it'll start an argument, and they don't want to have an argument with the person face to face. Yeah.
strange if they do not conform to the popular ideals of society. Number 3, modern day technology has altered the way we look at friendships. Nowadays, we tend to think of people as friends if they're on our social media accounts or have the same interests as us. But this is often not enough to sustain a lasting bond. Our online connections can be too distant and impersonal to be truly meaningful.
Yeah, I feel like this goes back to if you have a bunch of friends that are on social media and they'll talk to you about, I don't know, let's say, oh, the dance that Wednesday does in the show Wednesday. I mean, it seems to be hugely popular. I really liked it. But like people will be all about it and they'll talk to you about it and have your differing opinions or your similar opinions or whatever about the dance. But when you need somebody to help you because your dog needs to go to the vet and you have to be in the back seat with them while somebody drives or something of that nature, there's like no one to be found, right?
While social media does allow us to chat with people from around the world and lets us see what they're up to, it often prevents us from spending quality time together on a regular basis, which makes developing deeper connections difficult, if not impossible.
Impossible,
Number
I'm sure.
4, today's society seems to have lost the meaning of loyalty. The internet has brought us closer together, but it also seems to be tearing us apart. Loyalty is something that many people don't value anymore. The word friendship has been replaced with following on social media.
Mm.
The quality and depth of friendships are rarely valued as they once were, as we can simply scroll through our news feeds or swipe left or right on dating apps to find the next best thing. In fact, many people don't even attempt to make real friends anymore, since it's so easy to connect with strangers online.
But it's a thing where it's like it's really hard. It's really hard to be a loyal friend and be friends with somebody who's not loyal. Like it's difficult because you're like, well, when they call and they ask me to do this, usually I could be there in 10, 20 minutes. When I call and I ask if they could do this, like they never show, and it's not like a one-time thing. Maybe they were in the middle of something they couldn't help. That's fine. It happens. But if it's an ongoing thing where you're the one that's going out there and helping and trying to be there and just being supportive, and then when you need that support there's nobody on the other side, it's yeah, that's really hard. And feel like unfortunately it seems like that's happening a lot these days.
As a result, many friendships have pretty much become like a tool. They're seen only as a way of gaining something, like
Mm,
status, for example.
mm.
Number 5, we live in an achievement based culture. People are more competitive and status conscious these days. A recent study found that we are almost twice as likely to compare ourselves to others today than we were 30 years ago. Unfortunately, this increased level of comparison often leads us down a path that places results above all else, including connections. And this can be attributed to the fact that we are now living in an information age, where our access to knowledge, people, and opportunities are endless. The internet provides us with so many options for self-betterment through education and career paths that weren't available before its invention. But this has also led many people to believe that their identities are defined by their job titles or social media profiles, rather than who they are as a person.
Yeah, and I think this is also relevant towards dating, right? Because a lot of people would put on their dating profile like really good pictures and whatnot, and then you'll meet them in person, and you're just like, okay, you don't you this is who are you, you know?
The combination of inequality, competition, and identity obsession has made developing true friendships much more difficult. Number 6, people are less emotionally invested in each other's lives. In the past, when someone asked you how your day was, they actually wanted to know how your day was. Today, most people don't want to be inconvenienced by others and their problems. It's not uncommon for people to feel that they have too much on their plates and that they don't have the time or energy to be invested in another person's life. It's an excuse used by many when avoiding true friendships, but there are several reasons why this is so. Mainly, people are uncomfortable with emotional vulnerability. because it takes serious effort and courage to connect with someone on a deeper level.
Yeah.
If you allow yourself the freedom of being exposed without knowing if your feelings will be reciprocated, you risk being hurt or disappointed by those around you who may not care about you as much as they say they do, or at all. Number 7. Increasingly busy.
But see, I think in the long run, like that's good. If you put out those feelings and then that person doesn't have those feelings back for you, like you're like, hey, I really want to be a good friend to you, and they don't want to be your friend, then you know that you don't have to be friends with them anymore, as opposed to like living this ongoing just facade of you being friends, you know?
And demanding lifestyles. Just look at how our culture celebrates the idea of being busy. We have countless TV shows and movies about how cool it is to be so overwhelmed with commitments that you can barely eat or sleep. It's like we're all competing to prove who has the most important job and almost impossible schedule. This means that people spend less time on their relationships, whether with friends or loved ones. Consequently, they may find themselves spending more time alone than they would like to admit. In addition, some people are so focused on building their careers that they forget the importance of investing in their personal lives. It's an unfortunate truth that genuine friendships are becoming increasingly rare, but there are things we can all do to help change this trend. We can start by getting out of our comfort zones, making an effort to meet new people, and reconnect.
Yeah, I think trying to make an effort to go out and meet new people would probably help. I mean, but I'm doing that already, so that's kind of a way that we can help, but it's also, it doesn't seem like it's really doing that much. I do think that people are really committed to being busy. Like for some reason, people associate being busy with being high status. And it's like, okay, cool. I mean, you can be high status and have free time. I mean, it doesn't mean that you're going to be busy all the time. I don't understand that. Like, back in the day, we used to have to schedule, like, when you see your friends last, you have to pretty much schedule the next time you will see them. So it's like Monday, and you're like, okay, on Thursday at 5:30, let's all meet at the park. And that's what you would do because there wasn't no instant, like you couldn't text somebody and say, oh yeah, well I can't go now because I'm doing this now all of a sudden or whatever. And so you'd show up, and I think we're missing some of that. Like there's no like accountability for people to actually show up to things that they're invited to or whatever. Maybe it's because it's status thing where like I'm high status because I'm busy all the time. Like I'll say that I can hang out with you, but when it actually comes down to me hanging out with you, I can't because I'm busy all the time, even though I said that I could. I think that's become a big problem.
Connecting with old friends, taking time out of our busy lives for quality communication with those around us, and putting more emphasis on loyalty. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends so we can keep making them. For more videos like this,
Mm. Yeah, I think the loyalty thing, like when I think about it, I tend to agree, but it's also like if you're making new friends, there's no indication, there's no there's no way that they're gonna be a loyal friend like when you first meet, like in the first month or 2 months, you know? So while I do think that loyalty is a problem, I think the thing that we should be more focused on is the process to loyalty. Like people will be friends and when it's convenient, hang out, or when it's not convenient, not hang out, instead of like people used to be friends and then hang out when it was needed, like if somebody calls and needs support with something, it's like, okay, let me go grab some ice cream and I'll come and we'll hang out and you can talk to me about it and then I'll tell you what's going on with my life as well. But it seems like maybe that's like a fantasy world nowadays. It doesn't really happen anymore. Is there anything else to look at for this? The truth why everyone is suddenly getting offended. I mean, we could talk about that for a long time. No, it doesn't look like it. So I'm curious. Let me know in the comments if you're having kind of the same situation. It's weird because it seems like people want to be friends, but they don't want to take the effort to be actual friends. Like they just want you to follow them on Instagram or give them some likes on their videos or whatever. So make sure to like this video. Oh, oh, that's horrible. That's horrible. But yeah, let me know what you think because I do think it's a growing problem. I don't know if people are wanting to make new friends outside of the people that they already know. Like it's easier to go back and like just stay friends with people that you know and not like go outside of that group. I'd be curious to find out. I think we're gonna watch more videos and see if I can't find anything about it. Maybe read some articles and stuff. Maybe I'll do a follow up on this. All right, cool. Thanks. If you made it this far, you're a trooper, and I appreciate you. And I will see you next time.